Good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee Live. Having trouble getting X streaming. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Morning Coffee Live. Hope everybody had a good morning. Yesterday we talked a bit high level about AI and, well, if you haven't watched it yet, the fact that it's going to take all of our jobs and then probably, us. But hey, in the meantime, why don't we dive in a bit more with practical application? To start, I would want to jump in to Chat GPT. It's the most easily accessible, user friendly place to start out with AI that anyone who's not using it already is just doing themselves a disservice. And even if you've already you know, if you've checked it out, you've played with it a little bit, given it a cursory glance, but haven't dove in too far, there's a lot more it can do for you probably than you're currently utilizing. Um, so I want to give a brief walkthrough there. There are limitations to ChatGPT. It is a chatbot at the end of the day. It's a large language model specifically built on top of a foundation model, the GPT. 4.0, I believe, is the one behind it right now. And as a language model, it's designed specifically to talk to you. You ask it questions, it gives you responses. You can hold a conversation with it. Um, ChatGPT is very powerful, but once again, is limited, but there's a lot you can get out of it. And you could do so without having to get into programming. To go to the next step beyond ChatGPT, you need to, even if you don't become a computer programmer, you're going to need to be able to understand a fair amount about programming, be able to read code to a certain extent. You're going to want a basic familiarity, ideally, with like Python. Um, and you're going to have to, well, spend some serious time. I've been playing around with doing a custom um, AI builds within the Amazon platform using AWS, Bedrock, Lambda, um, kind of that suite of tools to build custom AI. And it's more involved. You need to, there's some actual training that really needs to get done to jump into that. And overall, it's just more challenging in general. But you have incredible freedom and power to get the tools to do what you want them to do. ChatGPT doesn't have that level of freedom, but it has so much you can do with it that people are missing. So we're going to start there. What we'll do first is we're just going to jump over here into ChatGPT. Let me share my screen. Here we go. Okay, with ChatGPT, most people who ever use it have seen this screen, the "How can I help you today?" And you can ask your GPT anything you want to ask it. So you can say, for example, um, you know, what is the best outlet to market my widget if I only have a 50K budget? Now, it doesn't know what your widget is. It doesn't know how you want to market it. It doesn't know your storylines. It doesn't know anything. I've just asked it, what's the best way, or sorry, the best outlet to market my widget if I only have a 50K budget? It's going to come back with an answer. It's going to be fairly generic. So it's giving us, your typical, it can be effective. You choose the right channels: social media advertising, Google Ads, PPC, email marketing, influencer partnerships. It's going to tell you a bit about each of those: trade shows and events, public relations. And then talking about choosing the right mix depends on knowing where your potential customers are most likely to be engaged and what kind of messaging will resonate with them, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, that's useful information. And you could ask questions of this. But a better place to start, I'm going to walk you through, is building a custom GPT. So if you don't already, make sure you have a paid subscription to ChatGPT. And then let me hide this for a second. Down on the myself move myself momentarily. Oops, all right. There. If you look on the left-hand side on the bottom where your name is, you can click on that. If you have a subscription, you go to My GPTs. When you click on that, it opens a whole new world of Chat GPT to you. These are now customized versions of Chat GPT that you can build for a specific purpose. So, jumping into here, we're now going to create a GPT. So, we're going to click on the top, create a GPT. To create and configure GPT Builder. Hi, I'll help you build a new GPT. You can say something like make a creative who helps generate visuals for new products, or make a software engineer who helps format my code. What would you like to make? And here's where you start getting to have some fun. You can come down to the bottom here, where you have this message GPT builder here at the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to say create a marketing expert for small. The more specific you get, the better. So we're going to make our widget manufacturer a little more clear. So create a marketing expert for a widget manufacturer. We're going to keep it with widgets that creates widgets for, let's see, who should our target audience be? We're just going to say average American households with an average annual income. Yeah, we're getting a little deeper. Create a marketing expert for a widget manufacturer that creates widgets for average American households. This expert should provide advice on how to best utilize marketing budgets to increase sales. So we're going to start there. We're going to say press enter. And then the GPT builder is going to go through and it's going to start building the back end of a GPT that'll do this for you. It's basically like doing AI dev through an AI. Once again, not the level of control you would have if you were building on, say, the AWS platform, but it's still a great place to start. So the builder came back, said, great choice. Set up as a marketing expert tailored for widget manufacturers targeting American households. Now let's pick a name for this GPT. How about marketing mentor? Would you like to go with that, or would you have another name in mind? I always ask for a name. I'm always happy with the one it gives me, unless it's just something, unless I'm just bored, and I'll see what other names it gives me. So we'll just go with that. We'll say that's fine. Let's see if let's type in the box might help. So that's fine. Okay, and then in the moment here, it's going to generate a profile picture. It's going to give us an option of whether or not to keep that or change that. We'll just keep it for the sake of demo here. I don't think anyone's too concerned about the profile picture or the name of the custom GPT. That looks great. We'll take it. Why not? Okay, here's the profile picture I created for the marketing mentor. It shows a modern office setting with a digital marketing dashboard. Do you like it, or would you like to make any changes? It's great. Okay, so we'll tell our GPT that its image is just fine. This way it'll get back to doing what we actually want it to do, and that is building a custom GPT for us. Fantastic. Now let's refine the role and goal of this GPT. It's already set up as a marketing expert for widget manufacturers. Excuse me. Is there anything specific you'd like it to focus on, like digital marketing, event sponsorships, or perhaps public relations strategies? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to tell it all of the above. We would like it to walk us through the options with each campaign we create through the GPT. Let's see what it says. Okay, so it's going to update and it's going to know that we want it to do digital marketing, event sponsorship, public relations, kind of all the above. That we're happy with all that. We're not going to limit it to a single thing. So now it's going to cover digital marketing, event sponsorship, public relations, and it will guide you through the options for each campaign. Next, let's talk about any specific practices or approaches we should emphasize or avoid. Is there anything particular you want to ensure the GPT either focuses on or steers clear of in its advice? So here's where we can start to build it out a little more, make it, kind of tune it more towards our specific job. So with our widget company, we're going to assume we're a smaller mom and pop shop. We're not huge. Maybe we've got 20, 30 employees. We're a nice little manufacturer. So we're going to say we want to avoid anything big and showy and focus on the tactics that will have the best return on ad spend. We want this to be a practical one. Whoops. What am I doing here? See if I can figure out how to spell. There we go. Okay, so we want to avoid anything big and showy and focus on the tactics that will have the best ROAS. And now it's going to update our GPT again. Got it. The GPT now emphasizes cost effective tactics with the best return on ad spend and avoids recommending large, extravagant campaigns. How would you like this GPT to communicate with you? Should it be more formal and professional or casual and friendly? We're going to say casual, but present um, answers in a formal manner when we are planning campaigns. What is we want to be able to just chat with it. We wouldn't want to get too that's fine. We want to just be able to chat with it, but at the same time, we do want formal responses for our campaigns. We want it to actually generate media plans for us, things like that. So we're going to let it go for a moment here. It's updating again. Okay. The GPT now communicates casually but switches to a formal style when discussing campaign planning. Would you like to test the GPT now in the preview? You can ask it anything about marketing strategies or campaign planning for your widgets. Before we test it, let's make a workflow. And what it is, we want it to do something predictable, right? So we want to be able to reuse it over and over. Sure, let's set up a workflow. Could you describe the specific steps or stages you envision for this workflow when planning a marketing campaign with the GPT? This might include initial brainstorming, budget allocation, strategy selection, and campaign execution details. Use that list and also add media planning. Oops, it helps when you type. Use that list and also add media planning to the workflow. And let's see what it comes back and says to us. So it's updating again. Okay, initial brainstorming, budget allocation, strategy selection, media planning, campaign execution details. Feel free to try it now in the preview. You can ask about any step in the workflow or request advice on specific aspects of your marketing plan. Okay, so now we have a basic GPT configured. If you click over into the configure section, you can see the name, the description. Here's the instructions that it's actually been provided. It's a comprehensive marketing expert tailored for widget manufacturers targeting American households. It provides detailed guidance on utilizing various marketing strategies, including digital marketing, event sponsorships, and public relations. The GPT walks users through different options and strategies for each marketing campaign, helping to maximize the effectiveness of their marketing budget. It emphasizes cost effective tactics with the best return on ad spend and avoids big, showy campaigns that don't yield proportional benefits. The GPT communicates in a casual tone but presents answers in a formal manner when discussing campaign planning. The workflow for planning a marketing campaign includes initial brainstorming, budget allocation, strategy selection, media planning, and campaign execution details. Conversation starters, it'll pop these up. How should I allocate my marketing budget for maximum impact? And you can adjust these. What marketing channels are most effective for widgets? Can you suggest a campaign for promoting household widgets? What are the latest trends in widget marketing? You can set these up however you want, and it'll pop them up when you go to use it. Knowledge. If you upload files under knowledge, conversations with your GPT may include file contents. Files can be downloaded when code interpreter is enabled. What's cool here is this allows you then to upload, you could upload a product sheet, you could upload a description of your product, you could upload an image of it, you could upload a pricing sheet. You upload almost anything you want here and use that now as reference material for your GPT. It's an incredibly valuable tool for the file upload. I've used it for writing cover letters. You can upload your resume, build a custom GPT to write your cover letters. It'll take apart your resume and it'll, base on the individual job description you put into Chat GPT, it'll pick points from your resume and write about those to make it a good match. Like everything when using AI, you have to edit. When I write a cover letter, instead of taking an hour to put together a really nice cover letter, it only takes 10 minutes. Still takes those 10 minutes. You still have to go through, you got to edit, you got to rewrite a few things, but incredibly valuable having the ability to upload the files. Then capabilities, web browsing, DALL-E image generation, and code interpreter. This allows a GPT to run code. It can then analyze data and work with files to do math, things like that. So here, if you wanted to say you design your first campaign with this GPT, you run that campaign in real life. You could then take the results of that campaign, say in an Excel spreadsheet. You could then upload that back to your GPT and say, here's the results of the last campaign we ran. Use these to help develop and optimize our next campaign. It'll do that for you. And then there's actions. You can create new actions. What we want to do right now, though, is we want to jump over into testing it out, see what we could do with it. So first of all, we've built it here. We've configured it. We're going to go ahead and create it. And by the way, these custom GPTs, you can keep them just for yourself. You can make them shareable by clicking anyone with the link, or you could publish it to the GPT store. There's a chat GPT store where you can go and look at GPTs other people have made. I haven't used any of those, but you have the option to do that. Um, yeah, I'll do this one, anyone with the link. I'll throw the link for anyone who wants to play with it. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that link. If I'm not mistaken, I can actually just post that right here, and that'll put it into the chat for anyone who wants to play with it themselves. It looks like it published to YouTube. I don't know if it published to LinkedIn or not. Okay, and now we're going to go to View GPT. And here we are. We now have our marketing mentor. So, how should I allocate my marketing budget? Yada, yada, yada. Let's start by doing this. Let's go back to the exact question we asked our last one. What is the best outlet to market my widget if I have a 50K budget? We're just going to copy that. We're going to come back to our marketing mentor and we're going to go ahead and ask it the same question. And let's see what difference in answer we get now that we have built it out. Okay, so with a 50K marketing budget, you'll want to focus on high efficiency targeted approaches that can deliver the best ROAS. Here are a few effective channels and strategies that you could consider for marketing your widget. Digital advertising, content marketing, yada, yada, yada. Very similar to the first one. It gives the rationalities for it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use this to dive a little bit deeper. What we're going to do is say, I want to keep the budget to only one or two tactics. Which would you suggest? And let's see what it says. Focusing your 50K budget on one or two tactics for marketing your widget will allow you to maximize the impact of each dollar spent, of course. Always loves to regurgitate something right back at you, just in a new way of saying it, or just something basic. So, digital advertising, social media, and Google Ads, email marketing. If you have a database of customers or can acquire list of potential leads, email marketing can be highly effective. True. Okay, so now it's brought us down to digital advertising and email marketing. And now It's going to give us some recommendations. Allocate 60 to 70% of your budget to digital advertising. Split this between social media and Google Ads based on where your audience research suggests the best engagement. Typically, start with a heavier allocation on social media is beneficial for building awareness and engagement. That's true. Social media is great for brand campaigns for building awareness or anything awareness based. Whereas your Google ads, those are generally for your low hanging fruit people who already know about you and you need to get them in front of your product. And then allocate 30 to 40% to email marketing. Use this budget to craft well designed emails, possibly invest in good email marketing software, maybe even purchase a highly targeted list if you not already have an email list. Now, that sounds great and all, but is this really that useful for you yet? No. So, how about we say, okay, let's plan this campaign. And we're going to let it take the lead now. Because we've built the back end, it should start asking us some questions to help put this together. So, great. Let's break down the planning process for your marketing campaign step by step. We'll focus on using digital advertising and small email marketing as our primary tactics. Campaign objective. Define what you want to achieve with the campaign. It gives you some examples of what those objectives could be. Who's your target audience? Your budget allocation. Where do you want to spend it? The exact dollar amounts. Choose your platforms: Facebook, Instagram. Decide on the type of ads, what type you want to use, and then you need to create your ad content. Your email marketing. If you don't have a list, consider strategies for building ones. It starts walking you through more details on how to do um, the things you're talking about here. And then your campaign launch. Now, you might go, oh, this is cool. It's definitely more. You don't have to stop here. You get to keep going. This is where you start really tapping the power of Chat GPT. Okay. So you go, here's what it wants to do. We said, let's plan the campaign. Great. We got to determine objectives, the target audience, final budget allocation. These are the tactics we want to use. We have to develop creative, tracking analytics, campaign launch, monitoring optimization, review and refine. We can now have Chat GPT do each of these steps for us. We can have it pick our objectives, or we can pick them ourselves. Once again, we can put in our own target audience. If it's widget company was our company, we would know our target audience ideally. And if not, we could use ChatGPT to help figure out our target audience by asking it questions. Um, Also, if you have the paid version, you're doing this, you have the ability to have your GPT use the internet to get current data, budget allocation, digital advertising, yada yada. So now, let's just say, okay, let's walk through these steps one by one and finalize. Once again, we're not saying do this, do that. We're telling it what we want to do, and we're letting the AI decide the best way to approach. So, step one: campaign objectives. To start, let's clarify your primary goals for the campaign. Based on typical objectives, here are some suggestions. Okay, now it's running a little fast, so we're going to go ahead and stop it here and say, let's walk through one at a time. Because otherwise, it's just going to. Chat GPT gets very long winded. Absolutely. Focusing on one step at a time ensures that each element of your campaign is well thought out. Let's start with the first step. Step one: campaign objectives. By the way, if you run into things where this happens all the time, let's say where you want to go step by step and it always tries to do everything at once, and I'll show you this in a minute, we can go back into the customization configuration part and we can literally just tell it always do things one at a time. Never print more than X amount. You can teach it how to behave differently if you run into recurring things that drive you nuts. So starting here, campaign objectives. Let's define, not defeat, the objective, right? Brand awareness, drive online sales, generate leads. We're going to say we want to drive online sales for this one. We'll say let's go with number two. So we're going to tell it we want to drive online sales. We're not going to bother trying to write better objectives for it. But right now, this is more about the process of how ChatGPT works. Step two: target audience. Okay. Now, here I'll show you another feature of ChatGPT that makes it handy. I'm going to say my widget is very similar to, let's just say my widget has the same audience as a new cell phone. Use the internet to determine what that audience looks like and which subset of the audience would be the best to target first. Now we're having the GPT go online and figure out who the cell phone audience is, and then come back and give us that audience as well for Widget Co. And the subset of that audience is going to be the most likely to purchase is the idea here. And I chose to use cell phone just because that is probably the product with the largest audience there is, and I want to see what it's going to do. So, based on the information gathered about the typical audience for new cell phones, such as those for Apple products, your target audience for new widgets similar to a cell phone should focus on the following demographics and characters: age group, millennials; income levels, so that a large segment have a higher disposable income, typically earning 100K or more. However, for broader reach, consider targeting a range of income levels. Also, you'll notice it's showing me where online it found this information, and it gives you links so you can go back and click on these if you want, and you can read the actual research behind it. Tech savviness and lifestyle preference. Target users are often innovators and early adopters. Online behavior. Given this profile, if your goal is to drive online sales, you should initially target younger adults who are tech savvy, have a moderate to high income, and are active online users. This subset is more likely to engage with digital ads and respond to innovative marketing campaigns that highlight the unique features and technological advancements of your widget. For your marketing approach, consider leveraging social media platforms, yada, yada. So now, if we go back to here, 2 was our target audience. Okay, we now have it. Okay. So let's say perfect. Let's move on. And let's see where it takes us to next. Budget allocation. We need to decide how to distribute your 50K budget between digital advertising and email marketing. Here's a suggested breakdown. Google Ads plus social media 30 to 35K, blah 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 blah. Email marketing 15 to 20K. We'll just say we're happy with that distribution. Happy with the split. Okay. So we now have our budget figured out. We have our target audience figured out. We have our channels, it looks like, figured out. Campaign tactics. We'll use Google Ads and social media platforms tailored to your target audience. Here's how we can structure these platforms. Now it's not recommend just saying here are platforms. It's saying focus on Instagram and YouTube as these are popular among millennials who are tech savvy and interested in new gadgets. Notice Facebook isn't in the list anymore. That's because that hits the older millennials and Gen X. It doesn't hit the younger millennials as well. They're not on it. Um, Content types, engaging video content that demonstrates the feature and benefits of your widget, as well as image based ads that highlight its sleek design and usability. Targeting options use demographic targeting, age, interest related technology and gadgets, and behavioral targeting, such as online shopping habits. Google Ads, keyword research, identify high intent keywords. Campaign types run search ads to capture demand when users actively search for related products. And that jumps into email marketing, list acquisition, campaign design, segmentation. We'll need to create compelling ad and email content that resonates with your audience, creative development. So now, are you ready to discuss the specific content for these ads and emails, or do you need guidance on any particular aspect of the creative development? Let's just say create A, B options for each creative needed and a short description for any video, no, not short description, short script. Create A/B options for each creative needed and short scripts for, let's go 6 second and 15-second videos. Let's see what it does. And it should come back and give some ideas on our creatives and some scripts for our videos. Here we go. And now you'd be able to take this right here and give these to your creative person if you have one. If you don't, um, you can also take this same thing here and pump it into a AI image generator to create your own images. They're not that great yet. There's some that are better than others. AWS has some decent models. I haven't played too much with Chat GPTs, but the point is, you at this point you could go and make your creative. You develop your ads. You develop your um, emails, etc. So as you can see, it's giving us Google Ads. Oh, it's actually, sorry, before that, social media ads. Here's our ABs: image based ad, video based ad. What's the visual? What's the copy? Transform your day with blank technology that adapts your life. Meet the future of tech. Now, once again, if this was actually for your company, when you were building it, you'd put in what your product is, how it functions, what it's used for, and it would design all of its copy, etc., around your specific product. Your CTAs. CTAs hugely important. We'll talk more about that another time. But Shop Now is not the worst in the world, but it's not great. Visit site, yet again, not the worst in the world. Learn more, not the worst in the world. At least there's CTAs. For the email marketing, it gives subject lines, calls to actions, yada yada. Our video scripts, a 6 second script, a 15 second script, tells you what to do with it. There you go. You now have your campaign set up. We're going to say wonderful. Oh, I don't remember what came next in the list. So wonderful. What's next? And now it's going to go back and it's going to help us continue our campaign. Okay, now we have our campaign creative and video scripts ready. Here's the next steps to finalize and launch your marketing campaign. Tracking and analytics setup. To measure success of your campaign effectively, we need to set up tracking and analytics. Your conversion pixels, your email tracking, your Google Analytics for your campaign launch, your monitoring optimization, yada, yada, all this kind of stuff. It'll walk you through all of this, how to set up Google Analytics. So if you don't have Google Analytics set up for your company already, you can just ask it, how do I set up Google Analytics for my company? It'll walk you through that. Conversion pixels. It'll teach you how to create pixels. Pixels are a fancy way of basically saying UTM tracking tags. Um, it's how you chase people around the internet. Very useful. Email tracking, how to use your email marketing platforms built in analytics to look at open rates, click rates, and conversions. Campaign launch, your pre launch check, checking your creatives, doing a soft launch with a smaller budget, test your performance, your full launch, monitoring optimization, and then review and refine. So let's go create a media plan in a table format for the campaign. And now it's going to go and it's going to build us a basic media plan to show us our budget allocations, as well as our audiences and our platforms, and apparently our KPIs. Here we go. Google Ads. What's it for? Drive online sales. What's our audience? Tech savvy millennials. Budget 15K. There's our flight dates. There's our key metrics, click through rate, cost per acquisition, our content type, text ads, keyword based search ads, Instagram ads. Here we go. We now have a media plan for our $50,000 budget. We have our audience targeting, we have our timeline, we have our KPIs, we have our content types to use. We can have this marketing mentor here help us create any of these. We help it write newsletters for us, email promotions, etc. Here's an execution strategy that came with it. If you don't know how to launch ads on Google, you can ask it, how do I do this? It'll give you a step by step walkthrough, monitoring and optimization, weekly performance reviews to adjust budgets and tactics based on the KPIs, monthly reporting. It can template these for you. You can pull your reports out of platform, upload them into here, have it create your reports. The power of Chat GPT, when you go beyond just asking it basic questions in the chat bar, is quite incredible. There's actually quite a lot you can do without ever having to be a programmer. As you saw here, everything was done through conversational English, and we have now created a GPT that ha takes your company, your specific product, builds your audiences, it builds a content strategy, it builds your creative, um it's not developing the creatives. You can make it develop the creatives for anything, just text based, but it's giving you the creative strategy for all your creatives. I said you can have it build them. It's giving budget allocations with reasonings. We're defining our audiences. We're defining our media mix, our budget splits, our KPIs, what we're doing, why. All of that is doable by just having simple conversational English. So if you're not using this to its fullest extent already, you can get the subscription to ChatGPT. I think it's 20 or $30 a month. I don't remember the actual cost, but you have all this at your fingertips. This is doing 80% of the work that a marketing agency does for you can now be done through a custom GPT build that, as you just saw in the past 36 minutes, we were able to put together and build out a full plan. So let's go back and ask it now, what's next? I don't remember if there's anything else in the list. So let's just finish this up real quickly. Okay, with the media plan set up and ready to launch, here are the next steps are all about execution, monitoring, and continuous improvement. Here's what to focus on next: pre-launch preparation, the launch of the campaign, soft launch, full launch, the monitoring opposition. Okay, so it's back to that. And there we go. We've now developed a full campaign using Chat GPT. And once again, you can ask it more questions. You can get into the details on any of these things you don't know. If you're willing to have a little patience and put in the time, you can use Chat GPT without knowing a thing about AI programming to do so much for your business or for your organization, your product, your job, whatever it may be. That it's not funny. It's easy as can be. If you're not using this for your job already, you should be. You should be building Chat GPTs for everything. So we get to hear any specific areas need more detail. No, we're going to say we're done. And now it saves all that as well. We can come back to this later. Now, can we have gotten to that same point using the first one without doing any background work? Uh, Possibly. But by setting up the GPT first, it makes it so much easier because, see, we went from platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn offer targeted advertising options that can help you reach specific demographics. These platforms allow for detailed targeting based on interest, behaviors, locations, and more. We were able to take it from giving us recommendations like that to instead coming back and giving us recommendations like this. Let's see. Here we go. Focus on Instagram and YouTube. These are popular among millennials who are tech savvy and interested in new gadgets. Create engaging video content that demonstrates the features and benefits of your widget, as well as image-based ads that highlight sleek design and usability. Demographic targeting, age interested in technology and gadget behavioral targeting, such as online shopping habits. And once again, if you look at the Google Ads, your keywords. Identify high intent keywords that potential buyers might use. Real quickly, one final one. Let's just go develop a keyword list of the top 20 keywords for my widget. Now, mind you, we're still talking about a widget, so it doesn't know the actual product. So let's see what it comes up with. But you can have it do your keyword research for you. Important to focus on terms highly relevant to your product, yada, yada. Okay, here's a list of 20 keywords. Widget, so brand product specific. Widget name, exact brand or product name. Huge to make sure you have that. Always capture your own product. Widget name reviews. Buy widget name online. Widget name benefits. Widget name alternatives. Feature specific ones. High tech gadgets 2024. Mind you, we told it has the same audience as a cell phone, so it's going to assume it's high tech. Advanced personal devices, latest tech innovations, smart technology gadgets, problem solving, yada, yada, yada. These keywords encompass yada, yada, yada. So now we're going to say reorganize this list by priority based on anticipated efficacy. Let's see what it does. And let's see if I'm hoping it's going to put into a start here and work your way down. Intent in competition. Rank them so that we can maximize our return on investment, targeting the most likely keywords convert first and broad informative keywords for awareness. Buy online, widget name reviews, widget name versus competitor name. Be very careful with competitor names. That's a little dangerous of a suggestion, in my opinion. The moment you start tying your competitors into it and you start talking about them, expect them to talk about you. And he who has the gold makes the rules. Don't forget. Don't take on your competitors lightly. You can start a war. But either way, like most likely to convert, likely to engage, broad reach, research phase. There you have it, a nice list. Chat GPT, ladies and gentlemen, an incredible tool that you can start using right now for your business to start making things run more smoothly and start making your marketing more efficient. And yeah, there you have it. I hope everybody enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please throw them in the chat. If there's any other specific GPTs, anything else you want to see or you'd like me to walk through, let me know. I would be happy to give another example or demonstration like this. And hope you all have a wonderful day. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care and God bless. Bye.